Hi there, this is Ruben from Dutch Round 1. Thanks again for coming by. Thanks for watching another episode. As always, I appreciate your time and I appreciate your support. Today we have another grammar lesson. We'll take a look at the degrees of comparison in the Dutch language. But before we do that, remember to give it a like if you like this content, subscribe to the channel if you want more, and let me know in the comments if this is useful for you or not. But without much further ado, let's go straight for our grammar exercise. Alright, so basically we are going to compare adjectives in Dutch, okay? So we're going to look at the degrees of comparison with adjectives. But before we start, I'd like to remind you guys what is an adjective. Well, an adjective describes or modifies a noun, which could be a person, a place, a thing, or an idea. I'll give you some examples just to refresh your memory. De grote stad, een goede vriend, een slecht idee. So a big town, a good friend, or a bad idea. So grote, goede, and slecht, these are the adjectives, and then basically they give a description of a noun. In this case that would be stad, vriend, and idee. So town, friend, or idea. Alright, so that's basically it. So we're going to look how to compare these adjectives. Alright, so in Dutch we have 3 steps. So which degrees of comparison do we use in Dutch? Well, we have equality, we have the comparative form, and we have the superlative form. Alright, so we've got equality, then we've got the comparative form and the superlative form. Alright, so I'll give you some examples just to show you what they actually mean. So, zij loopt even snel als Mark. That is equality. She runs as fast as Mark. Zij loopt sneller dan Mark. She runs faster than Mark. Zij loopt het snelst is she runs the fastest. Alright, so the first one equality, the second one comparative, and the third one superlative. Alright, so we'll start off with equality. How to express equality in Dutch? Well, there's 2 constructions we use quite a bit, and that would be even plus your adjective plus als, or you can use net zo or even zo plus adjective plus als. This is how we show equality in the Dutch language. For example, hij is even slim als zijn leraar. He is as smart as his teacher. So the first as would be even, and then als would be the second one. Hij is even slim als zijn leraar. Right? Please do notify that you're even, then you put your adjective, and then you put als. This is a fixed construction. Alright? Jochen is net zo groot als Bert, or it can be Jochen is zo groot als Bert. Same thing, Jochen is as tall as Bert, and Maaike is even dapper als haar broer. Maaike is as brave as her brother. Alright, so a fixed construction, and this is basically how we express equality in Dutch. Alright, we continue with equality, and then basically when we put our adjective at the end of the sentence, then our construction changes a little bit. Alright, so for example, zij zijn even slim. They are equally smart. Alright, so now you don't need als anymore because your adjective is at the end of your sentence, so it doesn't make sense anymore to use it. Jochen en Bert zijn even groot. Jochen en Bert are equally tall. Maaike en haar broer zijn even dapper. So Maaike and her brother are equally brave. Okay, so again, you don't need als because your adjective is going to the end. So even, you just put even in front of it and that'll do. Alright, so this is another way of showing equality with adjectives. Now we go to the second form, which is the comparative form. Now, how to express the comparative form? Well, the construction of that is basically adjective plus er. Same like in English, tall, taller, smart, smarter. Well, in Dutch, it's more or less the same. For example, slim, slimmer, groot, groter, best, beter. This one I put there because it's an exception. Don't worry, at the end of the lesson, I'll show you 4 exceptions regarding equality, comparative, and the superlative. Alright? But you just add er. Now you're gonna say, But I see with slim we added an extra consonant, an extra M, and then with groter we took out one of the O's. That is correct. You cannot forget your spelling rules with open and short vowels. Now I'll just remind you, basically slim, if you would just add ER, right, then you would say slimer, because we have the vowel, consonant, vowel construction in Dutch. So if you have one vowel, you have a consonant and you have another vowel, that first vowel will be pronounced long. However, the word slim, that E, is pronounced short, so we have to find a way to pronounce it short. That is why we add the consonant. The other way around for groter, groot is written G-R-O-O-T, right? Now, if we would add ER, we would have, if we don't change anything, 2 O's, 1 T, and 1 E. However, we don't need that extra O. Why? Because we have, again, that vowel, consonant, vowel construction. We have one vowel, O, one consonant T, and one vowel E. So basically, according to the pronunciation and spelling rules, this is an open vowel, alright? This has to be pronounced long. So we can take away that extra O because the pronunciation is long anyway, right? And then beter is an exception, but I'll get back to that a little bit later. Now, if you want to use it in a sentence, alright? How to express the comparative form in a sentence. Well, the construction is your adjective plus ER, what we've just seen, plus dan. Alright, so for example, hij is groter dan zijn zus. It's actually quite close to English. He is taller than his sister, right? Maaike is slimmer dan haar broer. Maaike is smarter than her brother. Alright? Zij loopt sneller dan haar buurman. She runs faster than her neighbor. Alright, so it's actually more or less the same like in English, so it's bigger than, smarter than, faster than. However, instead of T-H-A-N, we write D-A-N in Dutch. Okay? Hij is groter dan zijn zus, slimmer dan haar broer, en zij loopt sneller dan haar buurman. So that would be the construction. Plus ER, and then followed by D-A-N by dan. Alright, we take a look at exceptions. And this will be on how to form our comparative form, right? So adjective ending on R, that would be duur. So according to the normal rule, what would we need to do? We just add ER. However, then we would say duurder. Now for Dutch-speaking people, this doesn't really sound very natural, doesn't sound very good. So what do? We add a D. So we say duur, duurder. Zuiver, zuiverder. Right? So that's the first one. Then we've got adjectives ending on S. Boos, bozer. So that S will become a Z. Serieus is serieuzer. Now, it's not always the case, right? For instance, there's the word vers, which means fresh. It's ending on an S, but you will say verser, right? That S will stay. So how do we decide when to turn it into a Z and when not? Well, basically when there's a long sound before your S. Boos, that's long, alright? So that should give you an indication that you have to change that S into a Z. Serieus, is again long, so long sound, you want to change your S into a Z. With vers, the E is short, then there's another consonant, so it's short either way, and then basically you have that S. So there's no long sound in front of that S, so you'll just say verser instead of verser. You will not change it into a Z. Alright, we continue, and adjectives ending on F. Right, so then we have scheef, which is Q, then schever, doof, which is deaf, dover, and then grof, which is blunt, grover. Right, so in this case, same thing, the F will change into a V. So again, when there's a long sound in the normal adjective, that F will become a V. And then the third one is a little bit more complicated because grof is a short sound. However, if you will add ER, then you will say grover. Why? Because in the comparative step, then you have a long sound. That is why that F changes into a V. And then we continue with the superlative form. So how to express the superlative form in Dutch? Well, first of all, we'll take a look at the construction. The construction is the adjective plus st. Again, close to English, tallest, smartest, hottest, and so on. So there's some similarities there. For example, groot will be grootst, slim will be slimst, and best is again an exception, which you'll see at the last slides, or in the last slides of the last lesson. Alright, so we continue now, and we will take it, or we'll take a look at it, how to express the superlative form in a sentence. Now the construction will be, there will be an article will probably be de or het, right, plus your adjective plus st. We'll take a look at the examples to clarify the situation. So, hij is de kleinste jongen van de klas. So he's the smallest boy of the class. Eerlijk zijn duurt het langst. So being honest lasts the longest. Zij is de beste chauffeur. She is the best driver. Alright? So as you can see, the first sentence, hij is de kleinste jongen. So de is our article, and then we have our adjective plus st. However, you see kleinste, there's an e written there. Please do be aware that they are still adjectives and that you still have to adapt them to your noun. So sometimes you'll have to add an e, sometimes you will not. You will have to add an e when they're in front, when the article is definite, so when it's de or het, right? So don't forget that. Eerlijk zijn duurt het langst. So honesty lasts the longest. In this case, het will be our article and langst will be our superlative form. There we don't have to add an e because langst is not in front of a noun, so it's standing on its own. So basically, forget about that e. Zij is de beste chauffeur. She is the best driver. So there, best is an exception. And then basically also you have to add that e again because de is a definite article. It's in front of a noun. So you have to add that e. Right? So we'll take a look at some exceptions. Adjectives ending on st, sd, s, isch, sk, or de. So then you'll have to do something else, and we'll take a look at it at the examples. So you have logisch ending on isch. So we will not say logist. It doesn't make sense pronunciation wise. So we have to find another solution. And that other solution is logisch, and then we say meest logisch, right? Or woest. Woest would be meest woest, because you cannot say woest because pronunciation wise it would be very difficult and people would be wondering what you're talking about. Verbaasd, alright, verbaasd, that would be meest verbaasd. Vers, ending on an s, meest vers, and then stupide would be meest stupide. Alright, so those adjectives ending on st, sd, s, isch, sk, or de, you will have to put meest in front of it and then just write the adjective as is. Right? And then basically we continue with the exceptions for the superlative form. If the adjective is derived from a verb, right? Most of the time this will be a past participle. Okay, so if you recognize the past participle, then do not add st when it's used as an adjective, but put meest in front of it. So for instance, gelezen, meest gelezen. Beluisterd, meest beluisterd. Gesteld, meest gesteld. Aanvaard, meest aanvaard. Right? So adjective derived from a verb. If it's a past participle, then do not add st, but put meest in front of it. And then we'll take a look at some general exceptions, the ones I've been talking about during this lesson. There's 4 of them, which are very common. So the list of words or adjectives who do not comply with the general rule. The examples are goed, equality, beter, comparative, best, that would be your superlative. Graag, alright, equality, liever, comparative, liefst, superlative. Veel, right, quality, meer. Comparative, meest, superlative. Weinig, right? Equality, minder. Comparative, and minst, that would be your superlative. Alright, so this was the lesson for today, grammar lesson. I hope you find it useful. I want to thank you again for watching. Remember to give it a like if you like this content, subscribe to the channel if you want more, and let me know in the comments if this was useful for you or not. I want to thank you again for watching. I want to wish you a great rest of the day, and stay tuned for another episode of Dutch Round 1. Ciao!